Dominic Steed, who's the co-founder of Sporting Feet. If you could unmute and set up your video, and if you want to show your screen, show your screen. He's a former MD of a top 15 UK media agency, 25 years blue chip experience in marketing and advertising, ITV and Havas, and worked in large companies and startups, responsible for buying and all commercial relationships at Sporting Feet. And I can hear he's there. So over to you. If you could keep it to the 10 minutes,
I'd
really
appreciate
I'll do my best. And then we'll bring in the other two speakers. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that. And you can hear me and you can see my
perfectly,
slides, yeah?
Perfectly.
Perfect. I'm not going to put the video on because I don't want to risk broadband issues. Yeah, so, okay, a little bit of background on Sporting Feet for anybody who amongst us who's not heard of us. We're an independent sports retailer. We've been around for 10 years, actually be our 10-year anniversary in June of this year, which is no mean achievement in the current environment. We sell, high quality footwear across the range of sports. So we are a running specialist, but we're not just running. We cater for other sports like tennis and netball and a lot of kids stuff as well. Very keen on helping people with their feet issues. So, important foot care solutions, including even orthotics. So that's really what the business is all about. We have two shops. We opened our Putney shop in June 2011. So that's why we're going to be 10 years old this year. And we opened Richmond in August 2012, quite quickly afterwards. And we had a website, believe it or not, a fully transactional website, even as long ago as August 2014. And that was a very wise move, even though it didn't deliver very much for us in August 2014, or indeed up until the pandemic. So I suppose my conclusion on all of that really was we're very much a bricks and mortar retailer up till the advent of COVID-19. Very much, so our website delivered almost nothing, very small revenues for us, everything really from physical shops and face-to-face service. So we had to switch into what we call direct mode rather quickly when COVID hit. And I suppose in some ways we were quite fortunate really because we had all the bits in place. Primarily a fully transactional website. And it says here 90% of key products listed. In fact, as we went into the pandemic, we probably only had about 50% of our products listed. So we had to be able to move quite quickly to get the website much more representative of the business. A topic that's come up a couple of times actually today in the presentations. So up until COVID, really our website was just a backup, if you like. It was a way of people interacting with us, seeing what we do, checking on some products before they came to see us perhaps, but very much a support mechanism for the shops. And there you are, some stats. Before COVID, it delivered about 5% of turnover pre-COVID. During COVID, until now, it's delivering 50% of our sales. I should say that the other 50% is actually coming from the phone, which is a topic we haven't really talked about today. So although the website is absolutely critical, we're making a lot of sales over the phone as well and using the website very much as a support mechanism for that. So the two things work really well together, actually. So we're an incredibly easy to contact business, which I think has been a big advantage for us during the pandemic. Some of our bigger competitors, more national brands, if you try calling them, not so easy to get hold of them, whereas our phones are manned 10 till 5, 7 days a week, literally. We also, before the pandemic, we didn't have a click and collect service, but we were able to put that into place pretty quickly. As soon as possible when we needed to. And here's a picture of my business partner, Jeff, using our van. So we had all of that in place. We were able to do a delivery service ourselves pretty quickly, which we offered on free delivery on sales of over £50. I should say we did all of that ourselves in the first lockdown, which was a lot of work. By the time we got to lockdown 2, we'd also switched into using FedEx because we just simply, I'm pleased to say, couldn't cope with the demand. So we now do a combination of FedEx and our own deliveries, the vast majority of FedEx, because it's just much more efficient for us to do it that way. But most of our customers live within 3 miles of either of the shops. So we will do some of our own deliveries where that kind of makes sense. The other key thing that really has been our saviour during COVID, and we haven't really talked about today up until now, is database. So we have a database, even for a small business like us with just 2 shops and our transactional website. We have a database of over 33,000 customers. And what I mean by that is where we have a contact for them, i.e. an email address, and where we have a purchase history. So we're able to look at what these people have, our customers have bought from us in each time they've transacted with us. And that has been an absolutely amazing, really powerful piece of information. So, the website, the database is extremely useful. We have metrics like, we can measure anything really. We can slice and dice the data in any way we want, but we tend to look at new customer numbers, loyalty customers. So we have within that 33,000 about 2,400 plus what we call loyalty members. So those are people who've spent a certain amount of money with us in the past, and that triggers them becoming a loyalty member, so they automatically get a discount with us on everything they buy from us, and some other benefits too, but the discount has been the one that's been the most useful, again, particularly during COVID. So before COVID, we would send out a regular email once a month, which was probably more information based actually than anything else, with some calls to action to the website, but not actually really pushing people to our website. We would do that monthly. We've got lots of great relationships with other companies in the market, in the market local to Richmond and Putney. So we tend to try and showcase information on those guys quite regularly as well. But during COVID, we've shifted to doing this weekly, and our emails are much more about call to action, much more about promoting our website, and in fact really just promoting the fact that we're there, so that people can contact us, call us, look at the website, email us. There are various ways for us to shop, and I think that's an important message to draw out of this actually, is that we've gone from being very much bricks and mortar to being very much multi-channel now, and I'm sure that's going to continue as we come out of the pandemic. People will shop with us in whichever way they prefer to shop with us. That safety message that was highlighted in one of the speakers' earlier presentation, that's going to be important, I think, going forward. So not everyone's going to want to come to the shops. I think a lot of people will actually, providing they can trust that you're safe and that you're COVID safe, but the ability to offer other ways to work is important as well, I think. Incidentally, our open rate for these emails is about 20%, which I think is pretty good, and benchmark quite well against a lot of other businesses, I think, probably because we're so local and the people getting emails from us are existing customers who are very familiar with us. But that database allows us to target in all sorts of different ways. During COVID, we've been much more kind of send it out to the whole database, but we send a resend each week to everybody who didn't engage with the email, so we get a second sort of bite of the cherry. But in normal times, and hopefully we will go back to normal times, we will also target in different ways, so purchase frequency, what people have bought from us, and maybe things that we think they might like to be interested in buying from us as well. So database and website and just being contactable, I think, are really the key things that have kept us going through COVID. But there are other things that we do. We're a very small business, so we like to call it smart marketing on a small budget. So we're all over search marketing. We don't really do any above the line advertising, as I call it these days, in things like newspapers. We will do the occasional local feature if we think it's really relevant, but we really focus online, because we can measure it essentially, and our money goes a bit further. We tend to focus as well a lot on Google. So this has been mentioned before, but our Google listing, because My Business listing is really important to us. We do get a lot of good 5-star reviews as well, so we highlight those and we keep careful attention on those. But we also have good old-fashioned relationship marketing. So, we're very close and connected with a lot of the community in Richmond and in Putney, particularly clubs, so running clubs, tennis clubs, and other similarly relevant organisations. We get involved in races where we can, and we're not bad on social media. I know this is a topic that's come up a lot today. We are one of those classic small businesses that doesn't have enough resource really to do social media really well. So we tend to focus on Twitter, where we have around 2,300 plus followers, which isn't too bad for a small business. But in priority after that, then Facebook. And Instagram, so very much, much smaller, but echoing what was said earlier, particularly by Whole Foods, really about don't try and do it all. Just focus on the bits that you think really could, you can actually do, and that might have more value. So hopefully catching up for us a bit here quickly, Anne. But
that's
here's
brilliant.
my last slide. Conclusions. Actually, we've been quite fortunate, probably because of the running boom, really. So we're in the right kind of market. We sell running shoes. There's been a lot of people out running and walking and cycling, of course, because they're the only things that people have been able to do. So we've been in the right market. However, we've had all the right things in place, all the key things in place to be able to move quickly and be able to function during this situation. I think the fact that we're an established business, well known with a great reputation locally, has been really important for us. I think there's an interesting bounce, actually. We talked a little bit about how retail's changing, and of course it is, these are seismic shifts in how retail is changing. But I think being independent and quite locally focused, or very locally focused, is a good thing. I think people want a strong local retail environment, and will be willing to support businesses like us and many others through as we open, and providing they can trust us and they know we're safe. But I think there's a lot of goodwill out there. Obviously, we had that multi-channel capability, but what we had to do was be really flexible, agile, and proactive in allowing us to really turn our business on its head, in a very short space of time, and operate in a completely different way. We've also been able to keep our costs down, which does help as well. And as I say, we've been part of this kind of running boom. So fortunately, we've done okay during lockdown, and we're looking forward, however, to be opening properly and welcoming people back to our shops, because that's really what we do it for, is to actually interact with people physically and in our shops. So that's really me done, Anne.